Everyone, welcome back to another monthly celebration video, and welcome to August. I can't believe this summer has literally been flying by for me. So August is my youngest son's birthday month, so I have 5 photos here from 2017 when he turned 8 years old. So I'm going to go ahead and scrapbook these photos and celebrate him for this month. I'm using the Dragon Tales collection by Doodlebug Design, and I love this collection for this because he doesn't really like cake. He likes ice cream. As you can see, we have a big tub of ice cream for the party that we had that day. And so he's blowing the candles out of that instead of on a cake. So, and that's one thing, that's what I was saying. I like the fact that there's a lot of ice cream in this collection. When I was putting the die cuts together, you can see there's a bunch of different ice cream things, not just cake. So I really liked that for him too. And I love these colors, perfect boy colors, and I've been really excited to use this collection. So let's get started on the layout. Please don't forget to click on the links below and follow along with all the other wonderful YouTube videos that are together in this hop. It's always so neat to see what everybody's scrapbooking about that month, and I forget to say that sometimes, so I'm going to make sure to get that in here. So yes, please follow along and play along, and I've had a lot of fun doing this, so let's get started. Okay, so let's get started with our layout. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I'm using this really awesome collection by Doodlebug, and I like this collection because it's not just birthday themed. You can tell it's definitely boy themed in lots of other ways too. So, you know, you can see the adventure awaits and the little dreamer. So I really like that it can be used in many different ways, but it also can be used as a birthday collection, and the colors are going to go perfect with my photos and not planned. So I am following a sketch by Scrapbook Generation, and it is a purchase sketch, which is why I can't show you this sketch, but I kind of wish I could because first off, before I go down that trail, I am going to say the blue cardstock that I brought down is not by Doodlebug Design. When I was looking at the sketch, I was trying to pick out the pattern papers I wanted to use, and I realized that I needed 2 full 12 by 12s of the same pattern for the very background. And luckily I had just been, you know, I mentioned a few times that I've been trying to clean up my scrap room a little bit, and with doing that I had come across some of that cardstock, and I was just dealing with the rest ins and odds of that kit that cardstock came from. I don't know what color it is, but I do know it's a blue close to my heart cardstock. Either way, long story short, it was just sitting right above my head ready to be put away, and so I picked it out to go in with this kit, and the blue matched perfectly. So that worked out perfectly. You will see when I start to put the layout together how well the blue matches. So I am just cutting down all the strips, and when I said I wish I could have shown you guys this sketch, because ironically, not long after I made this, I was watching some YouTube videos, and Lisa Brooks did a layout with this exact same sketch. And when it comes to the banner area, which you will see me work on in a few minutes, that is when I realized she must be using the same sketch. So Lisa Brooks is one of the wonderful, awesome ladies that is in this YouTube hop with me. So her link to her monthly celebration will be below. And then when you are at her channel and if you want to see how this sketch is used in a different way, or see it used by somebody else, I guess is a good way to say that, then check out her Sit Back and Relax, I believe is the name of her video that she uses this sketch with. It's kind of neat to see it a couple different ways. We both followed the sketch fairly closely. I did change the size of my photos. I had originally started out with 2 5x7 photos, and instead I was going to keep one of those at 5x7, but I did end up cutting them down to 4x6, but I will talk about those in just a few minutes. So you can see the blue and how that blue just matches perfectly. And I did turn off the camera while I inked all my edges. There was just a lot of edges to ink. So here's where I realized, however, that I was supposed to put the white cardstock down first. And I was kind of bummed. I'm like, oh no, because I really wanted that white cardstock there. So I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put it on this side. And it's about 1 inch from the top and bottom. So on all sides, there's about 1 inch. So what I decided to do was just line it up with this side, mark it with a pencil. Then I'm going to trim down where my pencil cuts are, and I'm going to glue it and just butted up next to those pattern papers to make it look like the 12 by 12, or the, excuse me, the white cardstock was there before I put the other ones down. And it turns out good. They are, I am going to be honest, it is a little bit off of the other side, the right hand side. The papers are going to end up a little bit off, but that just doesn't bother me. It's impossible for me to get it straight all the time, and if I worried about that, I would spend hours and hours just lining things up. So, and usually in the scrapbook albums there is some space in between, especially since I use 3-ring albums mostly. In fact, I think all my albums are 3 rings now. So yeah, it doesn't bother me that they are just a tiny bit off. So, and, you know, like we've said before, nobody's going to notice except for another scrapbooker maybe, and you guys probably wouldn't even noticed if I wouldn't have said anything to you, but my cat is roaming around my room right now, so please forgive her if she, or him, if he makes any noises in the background, although he's been fairly quiet so far. But that is the majority of the 2 pages, and you can tell these colors are just absolutely wonderful. I am loving these colors. So what I'm thinking about now is I did want to mount, I decided to take the 2 4x6 photos, and I started with those, and I decided that I wanted to give them each like a border, like a photo mat. And I thought about cutting into one of the pieces of pattern papers, but then I thought this has a lot of those 4x6 cards, and I won't use all of these. I can't remember what was on the back side, but I don't think I cared too much what was on the back side, but I really liked the blue border, and then you're going to see me cut down this one that has the gray border on it. And I liked these ones. The blue was just a little bit different pattern than all the other blue pattern papers, and this gray was a darker gray than the pattern papers that I had were gray. You can see the gray one on the left hand side. So this is one of the 5x7 photos that I cut down to 4x6, and then I ended up cutting it actually a little bit smaller, so I think like 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, and so it will show a little bit of that 4x6 border. And now I'm just inking the edges of those with my black Close to My Heart ink again. And sorry, my cat is now digging in my recycle box. So then I'm going to go ahead and mount these photos, and they fit absolutely perfect. So it just looks like there's a pattern paper behind it, and I like the way that that helps them stand out quite a bit. And since they are no longer 5x7, I felt like that really kind of helps draw your eye to those photos. Now, the other thing that I did was I cut these. I think the sketch calls for 4x6 photos in these spots, but I decided to go ahead and cut them down to 4x4. I think they were the wrong orientation, so that's why I did it. And another thing about Lisa Brooks is I was watching one of her videos lately as well, where she had taken a layout and mounted all of her photos on a different piece of colored cardstock or pattern paper, and I really liked the way that looked. So I decided I was going to go ahead and mount all of these photos on a different, I did pick 2 of them to go on the green, but that's because I really liked the green, and I knew that one of them was going to go on the left hand, or 2 on the left hand page, 1 on the right hand side, so I wasn't really worried about the green being right next to each other. And since I already had the blue and the gray, and you can see I cut down another gray, but it's a different hue of gray than the other one. It's a lot lighter. So I decided that, sorry, my cats are interrupting me. So I just made sure that when I put the layout together that the green, there was going to be 1 green one on the right hand side and 1 on the left hand side, like I had mentioned. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the photos down now. And the only thing I kind of wish is that I would have put the cake, well, these aren't cake, these are ice cream, you know, of him blowing out the candles either way. I kind of wish those were on the right hand side, but it's okay. I really love how this layout turns out, but I will explain why I wish those were on the right hand side in a little while. Now I'm just going to go ahead and glue down these photos, and like I mentioned in the beginning, he has never been a cake fan. In fact, his birthday is coming up in just actually tomorrow from the day I'm doing this voiceover, and he still doesn't want cake. He wants ice cream and cookies. So I really like the fact that there is more to this layout or to this collection than just cake and things like that. So cupcake and cupcakes. That is the usual, but yeah. In our family, we just do things different, I guess. So anyways, what I'm working on now, and this might surprise some of you if you've been following me for a while, the sketch called for a lot of banners. And this is the part where I realized that Lisa was doing the same sketch. There is a row of banners that go along the top. So I'm working left from right, and you know, with scrapbook generations scrapbook generation sketches, they usually tell you the size of what to cut the papers. So I just went through and picked out a bunch of different papers that I liked the color of, and now I'm going from left to right looking at, I have the sketch kind of hanging up in front of me, like right above where the top of the cutter there, the top of the screen, it's kind of hanging, there's a wall there, so my sketch is hanging on the wall. That's where I like to hang my sketches because they're out of the way and I can see them usually. So I'm just cutting down each one of these pieces of pattern paper to be to the sizes of the banners that they have, and I'm trying to be just a little bit different. There are some orange elements in this collection, but I'm trying to stay away from, not that I didn't want the orange in there, I just, with what I have from on the layout so far, I don't have any orange on there, so I thought introducing that orange might be a little bit much. And then that gray, you could see it was a 12 by 12 and it had like a picture in the middle, and it was just, I liked the dark gray, and I'm never going to use that full 12 by 12, so I just decided to cut part of the border of that picture on that 12 by 12, if you saw that a minute ago. So I'm just trying to pick, and there it is a little bit of orange that does come into play with all of the layout, but not much. It mostly stays with these blues and yellows and greens. So now I'm just trimming my banner edges, and for that all I do is kind of fold my paper in half, and sometimes it leaves a crease, sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't bother me. I don't fold it in half, I kind of just bend it over, so it's not really, but like I said, sometimes there is a crease, but it's just quick and easy for me, and that's just how I do. And normally it seems like the crease flattens out anyway, so I don't worry about that. I did again pause the video, and I did ink all these edges with my black Close to My Heart ink. I figured you guys probably didn't want to watch me do that since this video would probably be long enough. And now I'm just gluing them down exactly like they have them on the sketch, pretty much. And you guys will be proud because I really like how these banners are. I think it turned out really cute. It did throw me off. I was liking them as I'm going along here, and it's going to throw me off a little bit as I go along because I think the fact that they're only on the right hand side of the layout is what throws me off, but I will also show you in just a minute kind of something that I do to fix that a little bit. So I'm just going along, and ironically enough, the sketch was also birthday themed. So it came in one of their sketchbooks, I believe, and in the sketchbook that it came in, they also did color examples of them. And what the sketch or the layout that they did or they used was a birthday one as well. And so she had put presents along all these banners along the top, and I really liked that. Sorry for just my squeaky chair for just a moment. So I decided I would go ahead and follow along with that and add the presents up there. And then I started to add some of these dragons around, and they are my favorite part of the whole layout. And the reason I was mentioning I wish the candle blowing out ones was on the right hand side of the page is because that dragon that looks like he's blowing fire, but to me it looks like he's trying to blow out candles on the right hand side. He's adorable, and I absolutely love him. Sorry, I had to close my window because my neighbors were starting to be loud. So I put that dragon on the right hand side, and then there was this dragon when I was going through my die cuts and putting them on the cardstock sheet like I like to do, was that one dragon that's on the left on the bottom where he looks like he's coming in and out of the water. I was so excited to get him on this layout. He is just adorable, and he worked perfectly there, so I was very excited to get him there. I am going to pop up this dragon on some foam tape. I do add a lot of foam tape under some of the elements on this layout like I like to do. I do use foam tape that is not as thick. I believe it's like 1/16 instead of 1/8. I can't remember the size exactly, but it is the smaller size, but it does give just a little bit of dimension, and I just look at that dragon. Isn't he cute? Okay, so here is what I'm going to do. I'm taking this piece of white cardstock that is just a scrap. And you can see all I did was kind of cut like a curvy line, like a heel line or whatever. So on the sketch, the color sample that they made, well, plus it has it on the sketch as well, but I think on the color sample that they did, I think she did real stitching, but I did not want to take the time to do real stitching on this. I didn't really think it would go either, and so all I did was cut that curvy line with that cardstock paper, and I'm going to use my white pin. And at first I'm starting out with this Signo pin, and I have to tell you, this is the first time I've ever had trouble with this pin, and it's really going to give me some trouble. And so I am going to switch to a different pin, which I show you in a few minutes which one I end up using. But I'm just going to make 2 different lines of the stitching, and I'm just going to take that same piece of white cardstock and I just move it a little bit. So there's the white pin I ended up using, Pentel Milky Pop, and there's my Signo pin that I usually use. So what I did, you can see, is I just followed along the curve of that line of that cardstock that I used, and I made 2 stitching lines, you can see. So they cross over at one point, but I just made sure that they kind of went in a separate direction. And I really like how that looks. I feel like it gives this, like, I don't know, I feel like it stabilizes the banners up there. And that's not the word I'm trying to look for, but I feel like it really gives the banners and the presents somewhere to sit, so that it doesn't look like they're just floating in nowhere. And also, if you can tell, at the very bottom of the layout underneath the white cardstock, I also did that same white stitching border. And I only took it to the edge of the white cardstock, and I felt like that kind of connected the banner area with the bottom of the layout, and not only the bottom but the left side of the layout as well. So I feel like those 3 stitching lines, or however many stitching lines, really connect each other together, and I love the way it looked. It turned out really well. So there, I just went ahead and I glued that dragon down. I'm telling you, he's my favorite. He's so adorable. I should get the cut file for that guy because he's cute. He'd be really cute on birthday cards for little boys. Now I'm going to glue down the word birthday, and originally you might have seen when I first started the video, I was going to go with birthday boy because there was another die cut piece that said boy, but I didn't want it on the right hand side, and I really liked the way the word birthday fit above that dragon on the left hand side. And so I'm taking these, these are Doodlebug chipboard letter stickers, and these are so old. Again, another one I'm happy to be getting used up because I have had these forever. So I'm just taking the number 8 and then the TH, so it'll say 8th birthday, because I don't like it when it just says 8 birthday. It just doesn't look right to me. So I kind of wish the T and the H were a little bit smaller than the 8, but it's fine. It works out perfect for me. And I will say that in person, the word 8th does show up a little bit better than it does look like on the video. So when you're in person, you can tell what it says a lot better, especially because it's chipboard and it's got a little bit of dimension. So now I'm going to work in this cluster, and on the sketch they actually had some journaling up in this area that I'm working in now, and that was my original thought. I was just going to put the ice cream and then some journaling next to it, but then when I saw that dragon and it kind of went along, so now there's dragons in 3 different locations on the layout, so I decided to stick with the dragon theme. And now what I'm going to do is I have these epoxy balloons, and this is another one of my favorite parts of this layout. So I have this crochet thread, crochet twine. I have no idea what this is called, but you can find it at Michael's. And for this entire roll, it's like less than $3. I don't know if that was with a coupon or before the coupon, but I've had it for several years, and you can see it's still thick, and we use it for other things around the house too. So I pretty much use that mostly when I use any kind of thread or twine or anything on my layout. I just really like the way that it looks. So these epoxy balloons, or sprinkles as I think Doodlebug calls their epoxy enamel shapes, I just put some glue dots behind, mostly to help hold the twine in place, but also to kind of help hold so the balloon is all the same height, because you know, if you put a glue dot underneath something, it gives it a little bit different of dimension rather than just regular flat adhesive. So I just put those 3 balloons together with the string coming out from behind them, and I'm going to tie a little knot here, and I'm trying to make sure that this little knot goes right next to the ice cream bowl. I'm not being exact as to where I want it to go, but then I just trimmed it off, and I'm going to put an a glue dot to go behind it to kind of hold it in place so that the strings don't get lost everywhere. And I love how that cluster turned out as well. I really like how this layout turned out. I was quite happy. So now I'm coming back here to work with this area and the banners. I had originally had all those presents up there, but before I started to glue them down, I thought maybe I could use some of these sticker presents. So I tried a couple of different of the sticker ones. Some of them look better than others, but I think the problem was they didn't stand out as well because the die cut presents have the white border, so they really stand out, whereas the present stickers don't have that white border. But I still use a couple of them, and I'm going to pop this one up with some foam tape. And to get some foam tape behind the little bow, because I didn't want that to get crushed in the layout, I just took off both sides. So, you know, your foam adhesive has two different sides blocking the adhesive. I took off both of those sides, and then when you do that, it makes it really easy to manipulate the foam tape. So that's just a little trick if you didn't know that. And I kind of get confused here because I thought I had more presents than I did, or somehow I got kind of messed up. I didn't remember how I had the presents before, and I liked how I had the presents before, and I thought maybe I lost some. I don't know what happened, but I do fix it here in just a minute, and you will see that. But as I'm putting this together, you can kind of see how that white faux stitching line kind of gives the presents somewhere to hang, so it doesn't look like they're just floating in the middle of nowhere, and I really like that. So here's where I thought, I'm looking around because I thought I had one more present. I know there is the present that's up above right now at the top of the screen, but I thought I had one more, and I'm trying to find a sticker one maybe that would work, but I either already used all the same colors because it's pretty much the same stickers as presents as it is the die cuts, right? So what I decided was to go ahead and use this present and keep it flat, but then I was also going to use this party hat instead of another present, and I'm going to pop it up on some foam tape, and I really like how that looks too, because then it gives it a little more interest up there rather than just presents. So that's totally different for me, was that banner area, but like I said, I do like how it turned out. Oh, another thing I'm going to do is take some of the die cut and the star stickers and place a few of them. I think I placed 2 or 3 in each cluster area of presents, so that each area has a few different ones. Sorry, my phone just keeps going off. So I think the stars really helped with everything flowing, and it just kind of made it look a little more cohesive up there. And for not being somebody who can't use banners and going to somebody who used a lot of banner stuff on this layout, it was a lot of fun. So I hope you guys like it as well, because like I said, it turned out really cute. When the 2 pages are together, it looks even cuter. So next, I am going to work on the little dragon cluster area that's down below. I'm just finishing up with the stars on the top. I didn't want to go overboard with the stars, but I did want to, you know, make sure there was a good amount in each area. So this dragon, he's blowing the fire. He's my favorite, along with the other one. One of his hand, I think it'd be his left hand maybe, is just kind of hanging out there. And since I put the balloons on the side, on the left hand side of the layout, I thought it would look really cute because the way his hand is, I could easily glue the balloons down and make it look like he's holding some more balloons. So what I did was I just tied a little knot, and then I put a glue dot down so that he is holding these balloons, and I'm just trying to make it so the strings aren't stuck together. And now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the balloon epoxy stickers, and I'm going to add some glue dots behind it, and I'm going to glue, and this time I only did 2 balloons instead of 3. I didn't want to fill up that area too much. So I am also going to leave just a little bit of slack with the string so it really looks like the balloons are coming from his hand, and I hope you guys like that. I really think it turned out super cute too. This has definitely been one of my favorite layouts in a while. Oh, and one last thing I want to say, I don't know if any of you have noticed during this video, on my right hand there is a very dark spot. So if I have gone, by the time this video goes up, I probably won't have done too many more videos because that is a burn spot on my hand, and I burnt it pretty good. And when it started peeling, it was ugly, and I figured you guys probably didn't want to look at it at all. It was, yeah, it was bad. So if there has been some time in between videos where I haven't had any for a week or two, that is why, is because my hand was not a pretty sight at all. So I do apologize for the delay in videos, but it is better now, and I hope to get more videos up. So here are some close-up photos. Please check out all the other wonderful videos in the link below. There will be multiple links. I hope you guys are enjoying these monthly hops. I know that I am really enjoying them and having a lot of fun with them, and I really like this layout. Let me know below what you think of it as well. See you guys next time. Bye.